Welcome to the Dr. Erin Show. May you live your truth. Good morning from Los Angeles, California. This is Dr. Erin teaching universal law, spiritual truth, and it's all about consciousness in the realm of relationships and love, health and vitality, and career and money. So today's topic and title is 3 things people do to subconsciously sabotage love. And boy, do I know this topic like no other. It's been a theme of my life, and it's an interesting topic because when you get down to the core of your internal work, I realized it was a lineage thing. It's been a familial thing that comes down to love from our parents, love from our grandparents, love from whatever, and the discord that happens along the way, the trauma that happens along the way, and coming to a place of healing that within my own life. And it's been a lot of work, quite frankly, and very rewarding work in the process. So I think it's always enlightening to just think about the ways that we subconsciously sabotage love, because if you get down to the truth of the matter, we are 100% responsible for all of our relationships, how they flourish or don't flourish. And so let's break this on down. So as we know from the spiritual truth, everything comes down to the subconscious mind. It comes down to what we've decided spiritually and imprinted in our subconscious mind, and how that plays out in our life, and how that is linked into universal law and basically unfolds and reflects back in the mirror of life. So knowing that everything comes down to our beliefs in the soul, we know the first cause is always that. So obviously, all relationships are the projection and reflection of our ability or inability to love. They're just a reflection of what's going on within our consciousness. So when I take a look at that, I take a look at the effects with an E, okay? The affect is always us. We affect, it's us, it's spirit, our higher self, and commanding the subconscious. The effects are what we do. So these 3 things that people do to sabotage subconsciously love, where we're not able to receive love. We block it. We make it unavailable. The truth of the universe is there's only love, and there's such abundance of love. There's so much abundance of love. It's ridiculous. It's a lie if you think there's not an abundance of love, okay? That's the truth of the universe. So I'm going to break down some of the effects of what people do in sabotaging their relationships. So, and believe me, I've done all of these drastically over and over again, learning, but it's really, so here we go. Get out a pen and paper, you guys, because this is stuff that's going to rock your world. And even if it's you or someone else, you can begin to spot this in your life and begin to handle it and communicate about it, or go to therapy, or do whatever it is that you got to do to realize that you need to stop these patterns. Okay. So number one is people pick unavailable people. Number one thing, right? So there's oftentimes we'll pick a parent-child relationship because we know it's not true love. This is just trying to fulfill some transactional process that is not true love. So we pick unavailable people. We pick addicts, people that are not available for love, people who haven't done their healing work. Any relationship where you feel basically you need to fix, enable, punish, or nurture via control. These are unavailable relationships. And you can begin to spot it. I know I did it. I picked a major addict in one of my relationships, and he was completely unavailable. He was unavailable to love. He couldn't love himself. How's he going to love anyone else, right? And bless him, I've made peace with that. I love him unconditionally now through the ethers of the universe. But we pick unavailable people, number one thing. Number 2 is we make the other person wrong. This is actually a commitment to fighting and dividing and causing upsets. So know that if you're in a relationship and you are making the other person wrong, that is a sure way to sabotage the relationship, okay? We do this in so many ways. Instead of just taking responsibility and making the other person right and figuring out how we can shift our mindset within that relationship, okay? So knowing that if you make another person wrong, human nature, the other person has to make you wrong back. It's a commitment to an argument. It's a commitment to a fight. So if you're going to make another person wrong, no, this is a sure way of sabotaging the love, okay? So number 3 is making the relationship wrong by becoming irritable, bored, discontent, and focusing on why it can't work instead of why it can work. Okay, we know this. We know that there's a power for good in our mind. And if we truly want to receive love and give love, we will look and find the ways that it's possible. We won't look at all the ways that it's not possible. I am so tired of my girlfriends and people talking about why they can't find love, why there's no one available, why there's too many options, why dating is terrible these days, why blah, 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 blah. Guess what? That is your way of not allowing love to enter your life. That is your sabotage. That is your belief that you're not worthy of love or that you can't have love. It comes down to your own core work, because we can look out to the world and we can find the evidence of why there's love everywhere, that why there's people and friends and love and intimacy everywhere, or we can look to the filter and find why there's not. And it simply comes down to a sabotage, a subconscious sabotage. Okay, so this is, I think number 3 is the most fascinating out of all the 3, because I think for many years I didn't realize that this was actually sabotaging love. So making relationships wrong, making the actual relationship wrong. And we do this by becoming irritable, right? We find all the ways that people bug us or why things aren't right. We become bored. This is just another excuse of why this is our ability to basically find all the reasons why it's wrong and move away, become divided, okay? We become discontent. Good way of sabotaging it. Let's just find ways of becoming bored. We focus on why it can't work instead of why it can work. So in AA, there's an actual like love addiction, SLAA, there's codependency. These are all ways. And they say basically when you become restless, irritable, or discontent, this is actually deviant behavior because it's not constructive, it's destructive. Okay. So again, the 3 things. Number 1, we pick unavailable people. Number 2 is we make the other person wrong. And number 3, we make the relationship wrong. And this is a tricky thing, right? Because oftentimes one of the major things that I preach is live your truth, okay? So this doesn't mean that you try and fit a square peg into a round hole. I've done that as well. That's not about that. Obviously, you date in a relationship to discover if you are compatible, if you enjoy time with this person, if you enjoy things or not, without making them wrong. You simply follow your bliss. There has to be some sacrifice at some level. There's not one person that everything's going to fit perfectly. So that's for you to discover. No one can tell you where that line in the sand is between living your truth or not living your truth, trying to make yourself and put yourself in a relationship that really is in alignment with your values, with what you're up to, with your bliss. Okay, so that's a different conversation. We're just talking about the ways that people sabotage things. And this is profound. In my life, I've witnessed this, and I look at this within myself because I know that I come from a lineage of, and this, if quite frankly, if you're in the culture of America, you most likely are living in a lineage of almost unavailable people. We almost have detachment disorder as a culture. If you go to other cultures, they're much more bonded. So I'm not saying all people are like that in our culture, but we have bonding issues in our culture. So these are ways to take a look at it and realize, are you sabotaging? What is it going to take to have you truly bond with somebody? Because I promise you will find, if you are irritable, you will find it in all relationships. If you get bored and discontent, you will in all relationships. It's you, it's not them, okay? Boredom is something that happens within the individual. And so it's a fine line, again, of finding your truth and dating and discovering who you really vibe with, who really you get along with. But beyond that initial getting along with and realizing you guys have the same values, these core things are the things that you can realize you're sabotaging. Okay, so today's universal law, because every day we align with the universal law. Today's law is a law of truth. And the truth is at the core of you live in an omnipotent presence that has internal wisdom. You know what's right for you and not right for you. You know when you're sabotaging things. You know when you've picked somebody that's unavailable. You know there is divine right action. There's truth, the law of truth. Within each cell of your body lives a divine intelligence. You know. You are endowed with intuition and universal guidance. And the extent to which you deny this is the extent to which you'll suffer. Truth and love is your real identity. You were born to love. It is who you are. And if you deny that, you're denying yourself. You're denying your true nature, okay? So today's daily spiritual practice, because each day we have the chance and the opportunity to live more of our truth and in our grace. So go into contemplation, go into a contemplative meditation or journal on all the ways you have sabotaged love. Take 100% responsibility for all of your relationships that have ever occurred, okay? And today's challenge is to love your life. If you don't love your life, you won't be able to be a magnet to attract love into your life. It's impossible. So today's challenge is, if you don't love your life, do something about it. Okay? So on that note, you guys, you can find me at erinfalhaskell.com. Across social media, I'm Dr. Erin or drerin.tv. You can get my book. It's called Awakening. It's on my website also under erinfalhaskell.com/awakening book. Awesome book. I really love it. I've actually it was so much work, you guys. A book, that is an endeavor, let me tell you. It's been an incredible journey. Also, you can get my free app at iTunes, Google Play, all the good places. It's called Daily Dr. Erin. You can find my podcast, Daily Dr. Erin or Dr. Erin, on those. And may you guys live your truth, set yourself free, and love like you've never loved before.